お兄ちゃん、おかえりなさい。
Kana, Little Sister is a bishoujo game developed by Digital Objects, better known as DO, and distributed throughout North America by the now defunct G Collections. You, the player, take on the part of Takemichi Todo, a decidedly average Japanese youth who is just beginning college. However, there is one thing about Taka that sets him apart from your average, everyday fellow. He's developing feelings for his ailing little sister, Kana. Kana suffers from chronic renal insufficiency, and because of this she spends more time at the hospital than she does at home. The player is introduced to the story through a college-bound Taka and a high school-bound Kana, but the game quickly shifts to a series of flashbacks that show us Taka and Kana's childhood. These flashbacks carry on through their teenage years until it finally loops back around to the time that the game originally began. While Kana does possess an ancestral theme, it doesn't take the cheap route of simply seeking to appeal to some weird little sister fetish. Kana's central focus, and what makes it such a powerful tale, is the illness that rules Kana's life. At first, Taka hates Kana for stealing his parents' attention away from him because of her illness, but through time and circumstance, Taka realizes the folly of his thinking, and opens up to Kana. Slowly but surely, the two grow close, and eventually those feelings take a turn beyond the realm of family. It isn't done in a tasteless way, and Taka is rightfully bothered by his own feelings. Without spoiling anything, I will go out on a limb and say that if you're open-minded enough to deal with the ancestral theme, then you'll find a beautiful, heart-rending story in this game. With my praise for the story and characters out of the way, just how is everything else that makes up the package? The art in the game is beautiful in its own right, but you will find cleaner CGs in some of the newer bishoujo games that have been released on the market. During the game, the CGs are darkened, while the white text tells the story atop the CG images. You simply right-click to clear away the text and restore the CG's full luster, free to view it with nothing obscuring your view. While on the subject, it is worth noting that this is an 18-plus bishoujo game, meaning that it contains erotic CG images. Those under 18, or those that are offended by sexually explicit material, would do well to avoid this game. There was to be a Japanese release of Kana for the Xbox that would have omitted the erotic content, added voice acting, and used new character designs, but it's since been cancelled due to poor support of the Xbox in Japan. There was a remake released using those same new character designs and voices released for the PC in Japan called Kana Okairi, but we'll get to that soon enough. The music is certainly one of the game's key elements. The game simply wouldn't have quite the same emotional impact without the tunes that churn along with the game. I'm quite fond of the soundtrack, and it's worth noting that the game itself can be played as an audio CD in any CD player. The soundtrack consists of many peaceful and melancholy tracks. There isn't a lot of bounce to Kana's soundtrack, so it's something good to listen to when you're not busy. Like most bishoujo games, Kana doesn't really have any gameplay to speak of. For those unfamiliar with the formula, bishoujo games play in the same way a choose-your-own-adventure book works. You simply choose between one action or another at certain key branches of the story, and the story unfolds according to what you choose. Kana has 6 different endings according to how you behave throughout, and it's worth spending time to see all of them. Thankfully, Kana also has an option to speed through all previously read dialogue, so replaying through old content to get to the new isn't really a chore. Now, to clarify, there are 2 versions of Kana available. The first, which is available in both Japan and North America, is the original Kana Little Sister. Then there is a newer remake of Kana that has only been released in Japan as of yet. This one is called Kana Okairi, which has the exact same script as the original, but has a few noteworthy differences. Okairi has different character designs from the original, has voice acting, which the original lacked, has 2 new vocal tracks, and has a couple of animated erotic images. That being said, Okairi is really only worth considering for avid fans of the original, particularly since it's impossible to understand for those of us that don't know Japanese. The character designs are a matter of preference, of course. These are images of the original. And these are images of Okairi. The biggest difference between the two is certainly price. The original Kana can be found for $25 up, depending on where you shop, but I found Okairi available at only one store that will do custom orders to Japan, and it was $99 minus shipping. That being the case, Unless you're already a huge fan of Kana Little Sister, or you just happen to be Bill Gates, the correct starting point is obvious. So, how to sum all this up? Kana is an absolute must-play game for anyone who can get past the implied incestual theme and the erotic content contained therein. Also, it's a dramatic, not always happy story, so it's not somewhere to look for a lighthearted gaming experience. Kana is a tale that, in all likelihood, will not have you forget its protagonist for a long, long time. Kana is a tale that will make you think. Kana isn't simply an 18-plus erotic bishoujo game, but a truly inspirational story that is rarely looked at seriously due to its incestual theme and erotic content. Anyone who is open-minded enough to give it a try is in for some real rewards, but those who would rather shy away from it can avoid the negative stigma that its brand of game is bound to carry.